Hi Aries, welcome to your love reading for September 2019. When I was shuffling the deck, I was picking up on an air sign for you. This can be perhaps somebody new coming into your life if you're single, or it can be an ex returning. I just had a strong feeling of an air sign around you, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Another thing I was picking up on when I was shuffling the cards is a friendship turn romantic. So for someone, maybe you're meeting perhaps a new friend, opposite sex, and you find out that you're actually romantically interested in this person, but this can also be somebody that you already know that you're friends with, and maybe again a romance develops. I just feel there's some type of connection between a friendship and a relationship. It could even be that a friend introduces you to somebody new. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how it plays out with the cards. This is a love reading for the sign of Aries for September 2019. The first card you have, Aries, is a Hierophant. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. You have the Moon. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. The Six of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. The Seven of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. Interesting. The Two of Pentacles in reverse. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. The Ten of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. The Seven of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. The Four of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Aries for September. And the Five of Wands. What's the most important thing that Aries needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? The message that you have, Aries, is the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is perhaps telling you that you may need some time to yourself. You may need time to figure things out. This can actually be you or the person that you're involved with. With this energy, somebody needs some space. They need some time either to heal, or they need some time to kind of mentally declutter, to figure out what they want. So we'll come back to this card to see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. If you would like to get a private reading with me, just go to my website, channeledguidance.com, and I'll put a link down below. Okay, so you have the Hierophant, the Moon, and the Six of Swords. So for some of you, this is where you want to get. The Six of Swords, you want to move away from your problems. You want to move away from the drama. The Six of Swords means leaving a really difficult time behind you, leaving maybe even a difficult person behind you. Perhaps you're moving on from a really destructive relationship. This actually means that you're moving towards a much healthier new beginning. For some of you, it can be with somebody new, because I was picking up on an air sign. But if you're already married and you definitely do not want to break up, this can be kind of a new beginning for you, where you're leaving all of your issues behind you. The problem is getting here, because you do have the Moon. Now, the Moon can represent the sign of Pisces, but the Moon is also just very, very confusing energy. You want to be careful in the month of September, because with the Moon, looks can be deceiving. It can be that you literally think somebody is lying to you, because you actually have the Seven of Swords here. The Seven of Swords can be someone who is two-faced, someone who's being sneaky, someone who is downright lying to you. For some of you, you could actually be thinking this about the person that you love. The Moon can also be maybe that, you're just kind of imagining things. You're imagining things. There's kind of self-deceit. Again, it can be you, or it can be the person that you're involved with. Perhaps they are in denial. Now, the first card is the Hierophant. So this can represent the sign of Taurus, but the Hierophant, this is spirituality. This is kind of a soulmate, kindred spirit connection. So I feel like for the sign of Aries, if you're single, you're meeting this soulmate in the month of September. Just make sure that you're ready there emotionally. You're ready to meet this person, because you do have very confusing energy here. It could be that you're conflicted because of the past. Perhaps, maybe you've had other people betray you, lie to you with the Seven of Swords. You're moving towards a much healthier relationship with the Six of Swords if you're single. If you're already coupled, the Hierophant does represent marriage. So for some of you, your marriage is safe, your marriage is intact. You have to figure out what's going on with you with the Moon being here. This is very confusing energy. And again, some of you may need to either give yourself or the person that you love some space to figure things out with the Four of Swords being here. Now, in the second row, I've already showed you the Seven of Swords, but you also have the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles, again, this can be a card of marriage. So you have marriage here and marriage here. So for those of you who you're already married, I feel like there's something very complicated going on in your marriage. You've got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. When this card is upright, it does represent kind of instability, everything being up in the air. A choice needs to be made. I feel like a choice has been made about a marriage. But for those of you where maybe you're just dating, this is also a card of commitment and stability. I mean, I just feel because you have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, that somebody, this came up for one of the other signs. I forgot which one, but I mean, I feel like the sign of Aries, like, some of you could be just really tired of the lies. Because I mean, the Seven of Swords, there's really no way to sugarcoat this card. This card is just, you know, someone's just being very sneaky. They're two-faced. This can even represent slander. I don't always get that from this card, but it can be that somebody is telling lies about you to your partner, or somebody's telling you lies. So be careful what you hear, because you do have the moon. This can actually represent, you know, deceit. Somebody is lying to you as far as what they're saying about your partner. Looks can be deceiving. But for some of you, it could be that maybe you're tired. Maybe you have made a decision, because with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, everything's no longer up in the air. You have made a decision, perhaps, you know, maybe about someone who has been deceiving you. But it can also be, you know, the Seven of Swords can also be someone who is their own worst enemy. This is someone who has the blinders on, who doesn't want to see certain things. I feel like if that is you, you're taking those blinders off. You're ripping them off. You're making that decision that you need to make to have this stability, to have this commitment from the Ten of Pentacles. Again, this ties in with the Six of Swords, where for the month of September, you have the chance, you have the opportunity to move towards a much healthier relationship, whether it's with the person that you're with or it's with somebody brand new, somebody new coming into your life. Now down here, let me show you, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. I mean, let me just bring them all up here, because I mean, this is something you have to see. Seven of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Five of Wands. I feel like the sign of Aries, like, you have some decisions that you need to make. And I do feel, because you have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, that you are making them in the month of September. Especially where you feel like, you know, there has been either deceit. I mean, the Seven of Swords is deceit, and the Moon as well. And they're both here. So there is some type of deceit, whether it's somebody lying to you, or maybe you've been lying to yourself. You're making decisions about your love life here with the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is asking you to take your time. So here you go. This ties in with the main energy, the Four of Swords. Take your time making a decision about your love life, about a relationship, about a marriage. The Seven of Pentacles is saying, look at things very carefully. Take your time. There's no need to rush. This can be a very confusing time for you. So make sure that you're not making a mistake. I see somebody here weighing their options. It can be you, but it can be the person that you love. Hard to say in a general reading. Someone's making a decision. And again, the decision is here. Somebody maybe is tired of, you know, working against themselves. Maybe somebody feels like, you know, I've been in denial. No more. There's a decision being made. There's a sense of unhappiness here with the Four of Cups. Someone is just, this is not just the energy of being unhappy. This is someone who has been unhappy for so long that they just don't care anymore. They're conflicted. I feel like it's you. I feel like for many of you, you're tired of a relationship where there's so many ups and downs. Maybe you've made excuses for the person. You've looked past certain behaviors. Someone who is their own worst enemy. Maybe there has been deceit. Maybe it's someone who just wants very different things. I mean, the Five of Wands does represent egos that clash. You're just very different people. Maybe you're ready for this. You're ready for commitment. You're ready for marriage, stability, and they're not. The Five of Wands can represent egos that are clashing because they just want different things. So many of you can be making a decision about maybe a relationship where you've been kind of in denial, like, you know, we can make it work, but then there's more issues, there's more drama. Many of you are just numb. You're numb, and you've become very unfulfilled in a relationship where there's just so many issues. And I feel like in the month of September, like, this is like your time to turn this around, to make a decision. You can actually find a much healthier relationship. I don't think that every Aries is breaking up with their partner, but for those of you where you're just really struggling, where, you know, you want a healthy change, the month of September is giving you that opportunity. I feel like you have a lot to think about. The main energy, the Four of Swords, you have a lot to think about so that you can actually have the stability that you deserve. Okay, let's get a few more cards and see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for September? You have the Queen of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for September? The Nine of Cups, messages for the sign of Aries for September. And the High Priestess. So we have your energy here. You are the Queen of Wands because you're a fire sign, but if you have a partner or an ex who's also a fire sign, another Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, and this is their energy, I feel like these three cards that I pulled for you are telling you that you're going to get exactly what you want if you trust your intuition. You have the Nine of Cups. This is wish fulfillment. You're getting exactly what you want and what you deserve, but only if Aries trust their intuition. That's what the High Priestess is telling you. You know exactly what you have to do. Some of you, I feel like you're making that decision in the month of September about an important decision about a relationship or marriage. For others, it could be that you're conflicted. The Five of Wands. You're struggling. Maybe you're making excuses for somebody. There's something you don't want to see. There's something you don't want to admit. Yeah, you're conflicted. Maybe, again, you're making excuses for this person. You have a chance in the month of September to have a healthier relationship, whether it's with somebody new or with the person that you're with. But it can be that maybe you need some time to yourself to figure things out. Like, do you still want to be with this person? What changes need to happen? I see you doing a lot of thinking with both of these cards. Okay, let's get some cards from the confirmation deck and see what messages come up there. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries about their love life for September 2019? So this is a repeat card, the Seven of Pentacles, because you just had it right here in the first deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for September? Two of Cups. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for September? And the Seven of Wands. Okay. What's the most important thing that Aries needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? The message that you have, Aries, is the Page of Pentacles. So, I mean, all of these cards, let me just bring them up for you. They're all telling you the same thing, Aries. Actually, you know what? It's these right here. Oh, give me a minute here. I knew there was two. You have four cards telling you the same thing. The sign of Aries for the month of September, you have a lot to think about. You have some type of decision to make. You have some type of decision to make. It's either going to be whether you're going to give someone a second chance. Again, where maybe there has been deceit. Because I see deceit here, a Seven of Swords, and with the Moon. There is a deceit in some way. Whether it's because someone's been sneaking around, or maybe someone has not been completely honest about their feelings. There has been deceit in some way, or self-deceit. All of these cards that I'm holding up for you are saying that the sign of Aries there are decisions that you have to make in the month of September. You have to look very carefully about your situation. Are you going to stay? Are you going to go? Are you going to give them a second chance? But it can be the other way around. If you're waiting for a partner, maybe they are making a decision. There's a lot to think about. The main energy here and the main energy here with the Page of Pentacles. Now let's see what these three cards are telling you. So you have, kind of a soulmate connection here with the Two of Cups. This is the soulmate card. You have a very strong emotional bond with somebody. You feel very connected to them, which this ties in with the Hierophant, which is a card of kindred spirits and soulmates, a major arcana. You have a spiritual connection with someone, yet you really need to stand up to this person. You have the Seven of Wands, and I see that you have a lot of sevens. You have the Seven of Pentacles 2 times, the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords. The sevens do represent decisions, which is, why I was holding up all those cards for you. The sevens represent decisions and change. Something needs to change for the sign of Aries. The Six of Swords. Something needs to change for the better. You need a healthy change in your love life. And the Seven of Wands is saying that you're going to have to really speak up for yourself. Ironically, I put this card right over the Seven of Swords. So maybe you have to really speak up for yourself where, there are lies that are being told. Where, it's just somebody that's being very sneaky and damaging your relationship. I do see you have a strong bond with the person that you love, but at the same time, this is your repeat card, the Seven of Pentacles. Now it can be that maybe there is a decision being made about this relationship because maybe there's somebody else. I mean, this is not going to apply to everyone, but since it's a general reading, I try to go over all the possible meanings of the cards. Seven of Pentacles can be someone who's weighing their options, like should I be with this person or that person, especially with this energy of the Seven of Swords and the Moon, which represent deceit. But for others, it could be maybe you're just tired of certain behavior and you're weighing your options, like should I give this person another chance? Do I even, do I still love them? Someone's being very careful about what they're going to do next, is what I get from both of these cards being here. This is a repeat energy for you. Again, you're having to really speak up for yourself. This is about you not allowing this soulmate to walk all over you. So, I mean, there's a strong energy here for the sign of Aries where the person that you love, the person that you're with, there is something going on here with the moon, the Seven of Swords, and the Five of Wands that is not fair to you. Like someone is just walking all over you, and I feel like no more. Like you've made a decision. You're making a decision in the month of September. Of course, nothing's written in stone, so I'm telling you, you're making a decision, but you actually have to make that decision. You can be extremely happy. You had the Nine of Cups, which is a card of happiness, and getting everything that you want, wish fulfillment. It came up with your energy, the Queen of Wands. But this also came up with the High Priestess, which means you have to trust your intuition. What is your intuition telling you about the person that you love? Is your intuition telling you that they're going to change? Is your intuition telling you that they're lying? That there's a lot of things that are hidden? Because you do have the moon. The moon comes up when there's a lot of things that are going on that you're not aware of. I mean, that's not for everyone, but with the Seven of Swords, there is some deceit, whether it's, lies, as in somebody sneaking around, or it can even be that someone is just not speaking their truth. And it can be you, because you have the Seven of Wands. Now, the other main energy that I didn't get into was the Page of Pentacles from the confirmation deck. This means, there can be communication, because the pages all represent communication, but this also means you need to look very carefully at what's going on in your love life in the month of September. Look at it very, very carefully. You need to study it, because there's something that you're not seeing. So this card ties in with the moon. There's something that you're not seeing. The main energy from the other deck was saying that you need some time to think. You need some time to think, because I see you being unhappy here, but you have a chance to get away from this or to turn things around. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the X spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it, so let me just get these out of the way. And as always with the X spread, it can be someone that you had a long-term committed relationship with, but it can even just be someone that maybe you dated a few times and you want to know if you're going to hear from them again. This is a love reading for the sign of Aries. This is for exes. Show me the energies around Aries and their ex for September. Aries and their ex for September. The Hangman. Aries and their ex for September. The Five of Pentacles. Aries and their ex for September. The Sun. Aries and their ex for September. The Lovers. Aries and their ex for September. The Five of Wands. So this is a repeat card because this was in the first spread. Aries and their ex for September. The Devil. Aries and their ex for September. Four of Wands. Aries and their ex for September. Ace of Wands. Aries and their ex for September. And the Eight of Swords. So you actually start the spread, the Hangman, and you end it with the energy of being stuck, of things not moving forward. So I mean, I feel like there can be positive changes with your ex because you have so many positive cards in between them. So you have the Sun, which is actually the most positive card in the deck. You have the Lovers lined up here with the Four of Wands, which would be a very stable relationship. This can even be a card of marriage. You also have the Ace of Wands. But the issue here for those of you where you want to reconnect with an ex is how are you going to get past this stuck energy? Because again, it is the first card, the first energy, and the last energy from these 9 cards that I pulled for you. Things are stuck for the sign of Aries as far as you and your ex. So let's start at the top. You have the Hangman, the Five of Pentacles, and the Sun. So again, it's like, you know, you're in limbo when it comes to your ex. It could be maybe that you're just not talking, so you don't really know what's going on. That would explain why you had the Moon in the first spread. With the Seven of Swords. Maybe there's some self-deceit going on with the ex. There is unhappiness here. The Five of Pentacles is, you know, the card of loneliness. It could be, you know, that maybe you don't know that your ex is suffering, that your ex is lonely. But this also is a card kind of, you know, somebody ghosting you, somebody just completely shutting you out of their lives, leaving you in the dark, kind of wondering why. I feel like, you know, if you have been kind of locked out of somebody's life, like, you know, they just completely cut you off with no explanation, you've been in limbo, There is a lot of positive energy for the month of September. Like you might be getting answers. You could be, you know, finding out what really happened with them. Maybe that's why there was a strong energy of decisions in the first spread with the Seven of Pentacles 2 times, the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Swords. You might actually be hearing, you know, what really happened with your ex, and you have a chance here for love, for success in this relationship, but that's going to be up to you. There is a lot of happiness here for you when it comes to your ex, but for some reason there's, you know, stuck energy between you. And then there is someone here who's very unhappy. Now you also have the Lovers, the Five of Wands, and the Devil. So the Devil can be the sign of Capricorn. The Lovers can be the sign of Gemini. But I mean, when I see 2 major arcanas like this, I always pay attention to what's in the middle. And what's in the middle is the Five of Wands, which you did have in the first spread. The Five of Wands does represent conflict. This can be a rival. Perhaps for some of you, maybe you already know that your ex is with somebody. Now, if you know that your ex is with somebody, you have the Devil right next to it. The Devil can be a very unhealthy relationship. This can be perhaps a relationship where maybe there's, you know, a lot of fighting, a lot of disagreements. But the Devil can also just be that maybe your ex is in a very kind of pessimistic place. Maybe they're in a dark place, especially with the Five of Wands right next to it. Because the Five of Wands can definitely represent someone who is conflicted, someone who is fighting themselves. Because I do see, you know, I still see a connection here. You have the Lovers. So the Lovers means that there's still, you know, that energy of maybe a long-term relationship which could happen. Especially because you have it lined up here with the Four of Wands, a card of marriage and commitment and stability. So, you know, we're asking about someone who's no longer in your life. You broke up for whatever reason, and you have something like the Sun and the Lovers, especially with a new beginning. So for those of you where you want your ex back, and I know a lot of people don't, because I have opened up the comments for most of the videos. A lot of people are saying, I don't want my ex back. They've done this, or this. But you'd be surprised how many people do want their ex back. So for those of you where you're open to having this person back in your life, I mean, I feel like that connection is still there. Like, it's not just you. Technically, I pulled the Sun first, and then I pulled the Lovers. This is just the way I place my cards. So, I mean, I feel like they are still thinking of you. You have a chance to get back with them in the month of September. Just know that there's something going on right here. You also have the 2 fives. The fives always represent a problem, a challenge, an obstacle. So for the sign of Aries, there is some type of obstacle to you and your ex getting back together. There's stuck energy. You start with stuck energy, the Hangman, and you end with stuck energy, the 8 of Swords. They're conflicted. Now, I mean, there's so many messages that are coming through because it's a general reading. There could be somebody involved. Maybe, I feel like for those of you where, you know, where you already know there's someone else, maybe that came between you, this just represents that person. Maybe, you know, again, it's become a very negative relationship. Maybe they're stuck in that relationship with the Hangman and the 8 of Swords. But for others, it could be that your ex is just, you know, in a really dark place with the Devil being here. Conflicted with the 5 of Wands. But I still see that significant connection with the Lovers. The Lovers is perhaps a long-term relationship. This could be the person you spend the rest of your life with. You do have the Sun saying there's still a lot of positive energy between you and your ex, no matter how things ended or how things look right now. Now, on the bottom row, you do have the 4 of Wands. So again, there's still a chance here for something stable. This is, you know, a relationship that is strong. Perhaps even a relationship that will lead to marriage. You have the Ace of Wands, a new beginning, a clean slate. Now, do you want that new beginning? That's going to be up to you. Like I said, lots of people do not want their ex back. They ask me, why do you do this spread? But again, you'd be surprised how many people do want an ex back. You have that chance here if that's what you want. The Ace of Wands is wiping the slate clean. But, you know, there's something here with the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is about fear. You know, things are not moving forward with your ex. Maybe they're afraid to reach out to you. The 8 of Swords does represent someone who is stuck, someone that feels, I don't know how to do this. Maybe you don't know how to forgive them. Maybe they don't know how to reach out to you. There's just stuck energy around you and your ex, but that connection is still there. The Lovers, the Sun, the 4 of Wands, then you have the Ace of Wands. There's a chance for a new beginning. Let me get a few more cards for you, Aries. A Let's see what other messages come up. Show me the energies around Aries and their ex for September. Page of Wands, Aries and their ex for September. Judgment. And the Magician. Yeah, this is going to be totally up to you. I mean, there can be communication. The Page of Wands is actually a card of good news. A message that gets you really excited. And then ironically, you have this with Judgment, which is a major arcana of new beginnings. This is actually a card of second chances, of something rising from the ashes, of something coming back to life. So this is what you want to see when you're asking about an ex. There can't be communication about a new beginning. This is going to be totally up to you. You have the Magician. So the Magician is saying, like, this is, you know, you have free will, and either you're going to decide to give him a second chance, or you're going to decide you're going to move on. You're going to pass. But I also feel with the Magician, this is going to depend on maybe where you are mentally. For those of you where you're just in a really pessimistic place, because you have the Devil placed, you know, kind of under the Magician. So if you're in a really dark place where maybe you've become really pessimistic, like they're never going to come back, it's been too long, the longer you keep thinking that way, maybe you're postponing, you're stopping this person from coming back into your life because of the way that you're thinking. Be open to new beginnings if that's what you want. You have the Sun here. There's a lot of positive energy for those that want to reconnect with an ex. You can manifest this. The Magician is all about manifesting, but you don't want to be in this place here where you just become really dark, pessimistic, you don't care, and you know, there is a chance for a reunion here with Judgment. Okay, let me get a few cards for you from the confirmation deck. Let me just give it a quick shuffle. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries about their ex? September 2018. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries about their ex? September 2019. Let's see if anything repeats itself, or there's any other confirmation of what we see here. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries about their ex? September 2018. Messages for the sign of Aries about their ex, September 2019. Messages for the sign of Aries about their ex, September 2019. Okay, so let's see what comes up for you, Aries. You have the Six of Swords, which actually came up in the first spread. Aries and their ex for September. The Queen of Cups. Aries and their ex for September. And the Ten of Cups. So you do have the energy of a water sign here, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. So this can represent your ex or you, if you have a moon or rising in a water sign. But the King and the Queen of Cups is just someone who's very in touch with their emotions and their intuition. And you did have the High Priestess in the first spread. So I feel like this could be you if your ex is not a water sign. You have to trust your intuition so that you can have this happily ever after with your ex. That is what the Ten of Cups represents. A happily ever after. A very fulfilling relationship. Perhaps even marriage, because you do have a marriage card here as well with the Four of Wands. Now, there does, I told you this card repeated itself in the first spread. You have the Six of Swords. This is a movement around your ex. But it also it represents a healthy change, because you did have, I'm looking for it here, you did have this card in the first spread that I did for you. Here it is. So this is, pretty much a repeat card as well. So this is telling you that there can be a change in the status of your relationship with your ex. I feel like if you're going to get back together in the month of September, there's going to have to be some profound change so it can be a much healthier relationship. That is what the Six of Swords represents, a very healthy change. Calmer waters. You're leaving a really difficult time behind you. Maybe even a difficult person. Maybe there had been someone who had been interfering in your relationship. Or perhaps, again, maybe your ex was just kind of being their own worst enemy. considering the first spread. And even this, the Five of Wands next to the Devil. This just means there has to be a healthy change in the relationship in order for you to have this happily ever after from the Ten of Cups. Now, let me just look this over before I close the reading. Let's see if anything else stands out. Now, one thing I am seeing here right away that I didn't see before is that you've got the Six of Swords. Got the Six of Swords, and then the Lovers is also a 6. So the sixes do represent balance and harmony. So it's like maybe something is out of balance. Something was out of balance in that relationship where things have to change in order to have that, that healthy new beginning here and a second chance here. Relationship rising from the ashes. So the 2 6s, but also, I mean, the 2 5s. There is some type of obstacle. What is that obstacle? That's only something that you would know. What is that obstacle that's standing in the way of you and your ex working things out? Because you can work things out. I mean, the sun does not always come out in the X spread, but you have it. Like I said, I pulled the sun, and then right after I pulled the Lovers. So you can have this new beginning with your ex. But what is this? What is this? Who is conflicted? Or is it a rival? Is it some type of, kind of destructive relationship that is interfering in your relationship with your ex? Either way, you're empowered. You have the Magician. You have the power to manifest this relationship again, because this came out with the Judgment card, a relationship rising from the ashes. And it can be for many of you that there is communication with your ex, the Page of Wands, excitement, good news coming to you, telling you that you have this second chance here with the Ace of Wands. This is a chance for a clean slate, no matter what has happened. It could be maybe with your ex, there was a lot of fighting, disagreements, just a lot of pettiness with the Five of Wands, a lot of destructive behavior. But, you have a chance to wipe the slate clean if that is what you want. Again, you have all the power here with the Magician. Okay, Aries, this has been your love reading for September 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.